Hey everyone, Pastor Paul Krampitz coming to you once again from the Pastor's Study here at Bethany Lutheran Church in Cromwell, Connecticut. And what I have to share with you today is something you might not expect to find in a Lutheran pastor's study, but it is a Tibetan singing prayer bowl. I think it's made out of copper, and there's a wooden, almost looks like a mallet or like a mortar and pestle set almost, I guess it looks like here. And being a drummer, I would think that, well, here's the stick and here's the instrument. You hit it, right? And you can get a sound out of it. But actually, here's how this instrument is played. You gently stroke the outside of the bowl. And as you rub the rim of the bowl gently, this beautiful tone emits. And I don't know how long you can hear the sustain on this, but it's quite long. These bowls are used for prayers. And I love the fact that what the wooden mallet does is not strike the bowl, but gently set up these vibrations that create this wonderful, wonderful sound. So they're used in meditative prayer in the Buddhist tradition. For me, this Tibetan prayer bowl is also somewhat of a metaphor for how I understand pastors are called to lead. Our forward leadership team has been learning a lot about something called adaptive leadership. So it's not just about adapting to change, but it's really how we do lead. And there are lots of styles of leadership. And of course, the kind of leadership that's necessitated depends on the situation. But there's the kind of hard-driving leadership, like the captain of a ship. Do this, do that, lots of orders. And there's certainly a time and place for it. That's sort of like striking the bowl here pretty hard, trying to get it to move. But I love this idea of the pastor as a leader who is more like the conductor of an orchestra, who gently elicits sounds from the various members of the orchestra. Instead of hitting on the bowl, you might say, just sort of gently rubbing around the edge. A constant presence, always in contact, and allowing the sound that just is within there to emerge naturally. It's a beautiful thing. So there's a time and a place for hard-driving leadership, a time and a place to make difficult calls and to be sort of the captain. But I think most of the time, pastors are called to accompany people in their daily lives, to gently prod, to, as that wonderful story goes, of the pastor visiting the inactive member who hasn't been seen for a long time at church. The pastor shows up, sits down in the living room and sees a fire in the fireplace that's about to go out. The pastor just sort of prods the embers and throws another stick on the fire, another log, and pretty soon that little prodding and that feeding results in a blazing fire. As the story goes, the pastor leaves without saying a word, but later on that parishioner would say it was the best sermon he had ever seen. So sometimes pastors are the sage on the stage, but most of the times we are also the guide on the side. So here in the pastor study is a place where you can know that your pastor is willing to be your companion, to walk with you in your journey of life, in your faith journey. And not to bang on you, but to gently prod sometimes and to elicit from you the person that God has called you and empowered you to be. Well, that's all for now. Until next time, this is Pastor Paul saying goodbye and God bless.